Hi, I am Miss Janie. I am a Master Gardener with the Tribe River Area Extension Office. Now, when you hear Master Gardener, you must think I am really hot stuff. I'm a master. I must have the biggest, best, flourishing garden. No, that's not true. What Master Gardener really means is that I like to investigate and then I like to go do stuff. I hope that's the same about you also, that you like to investigate and then go do. Today, what we are investigating is how to transplant a plant. I went to the nursery. I have this little itty-bitty plant, and my goal is to put it into a container so that it will grow up and be big and beautiful. That's transplanting. That's our main topic, but along the way, I've got a few other little tidbits for you. We've got 3 basic steps. One is select. How do you select the plants that you're going to grow? Number 2 is the soil. Where are you going to put these plants? And number 3 is set the roots free. That's how you actually do the transplanting. First, you need to know what you are going to grow. Now, some people like fruits and vegetables because they want to grow big and strong. That's not me. No, I like flowers because I like things that are bright, and I like texture, and I like tall things and little things. Mostly it's the color. I like lots of color. So when you go to the plant store and you're going to pick them out, oh my, how do you know which one to pick out? There are little itty-bitty plants and flowers, and there are bright flowers, and there are tall, skinny flowers. How do you know which ones to do? Well, let me give you a clue. When you get your container, the first thing you're going to want to look for is a filler, something that will grow along the top. Then you also want a spiller, something that will come down the side. And then you want a thriller, something that will go up and attract attention. Let me give you an example here. Now, this one isn't real filled out because I just planted it. But here we have our filler. These will stay right along the top of the container. Here I have a spiller. It will, right now it's just like a cowlick, it wants to stand up, but this will drape along the side. And then we have a thriller. Right here I just have some grass because that's what fit in this container. But here's another example of a thriller, a tall plant that's going to have a lot of color on it. So that's the first thing that we do. You have to select your plants. Then we're going to move on to the second thing. And the second thing is that we have to find our soil. Selecting your plants tells you what. Your soil tells you where. Now, if you are going to grow, what do you need? I think you need air, you need some water, and you need some food to eat. That's the 3 good starters for growing. Well, guess what? Plants need the same thing. They need air, they need water, and they need nutrients. Soil is the growing medium that gives the plants the air, the nutrients, and the water. Now, if I went out to my backyard, like I did this morning, and I dug up some stuff, I actually would call this dirt. Technically, it's soil too. It's just a different kind of soil, but I would call it dirt. Does it look like it would absorb some air? No, that's pretty hard. How about water? No, the water can't penetrate that. And it's just kind of a gray blob. I don't think it has any nutrients in it either. what is better is to get some potting soil. This is nice and loose, and it just looks rich. It has some good chunks in it. This is soil that will really be good for growing things. Now, I do have to say, I could take this dirt and I could feed it and turn it into some good growing soil. But just to make things easy, I went to the store and I bought some potting soil. All right, so the first thing, we had our what. We selected our plants. The second thing, we have our where. We're going to put the plants into some good soil. And the third thing that we're going to move on to in just a minute is setting the roots free. That's the real art of transplanting. Okay, so our third thing that we need to do is we need to set the roots free. What do I mean by that? Let's look at this one right here. I have some plants that I picked up at the store, but look at this. These roots are coming out the bottom. Ooh, that's going to be kind of tough. And if I were to just pull on this plant, you know what would happen? I would probably separate the plant from the roots. Well, the roots are almost like your stomach. Could you live without your stomach to take in the nutrients that you need? No, you need those roots. So we're going to have to be very, very careful about pulling these out. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of water on these, like that. And then we're going to squeeze them. Squeeze it from both directions. And then I am very carefully going to tug this out. And look at that. It has these long, stringy roots. I'm going to set this one down for right now, and I'm going to pull out another one. Let's see what happens when this one comes out. Oh, that's not too bad. That one actually looks pretty good. I know I have another bad one here. Let me see what happens when I tug this one out. Remember, squeeze. I might need to put a little bit of water in this one. This is what can happen. He doesn't want to let go. He's really stuck. Okay, we're actually going to dig on this one. Yep. This is what I thought I might find. There's almost like a film all around this. It's kind of made up of roots, and it's just nasty. Well, the thing is, remember our key here is to set the roots free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shovel, and I am actually going to cut the edges off of the roots here. Like that. And what I cut off, this stuff, it's gone. I don't need it. Now here is a good example again. Here's lots of roots. Those might get us in trouble because roots, if you don't spread them out, they will start circling around the plant. We need to set them free. So I'm going to see I can kind of pull these all apart. But I might actually just get my clippers here and cut them off. And that's okay. Now I need roots. Don't forget, you need roots because that's what takes up the nutrients, but they need to be able to spread out. I'm going to get one more plant here and see what I find. This one has lots of roots, but they're okay. I did pull some of this off, and that's okay because I still have lots of roots right here. Now, I'm going to grab one more that I'm going to show you here. This one actually has 3 plants in it. And I want one of them. So I'm going to pull it apart. And I've got a pretty nice set of roots. But when I go to put it in here, well, those roots are longer than my pot. How will I ever get them buried? I don't want to circle these roots up in my container here. So I'm actually going to pull these off. I'm even going to cut them off. It's okay. You need the roots, but it's okay to shorten them up a little bit. So now I'm going to put them in my container. And the point is, I could use a shovel. I can use my hand. I need my hole big enough that the roots can spread out. And then how deep do you put it? Well, it was growing with the soil right here. That's what it still needs. So get your hole big enough, wide and deep, so that the roots can spread out, and then you bring the soil in so that it's at the same level where it used to be when this was growing in its little container. Now, as long as we have these tugged out, I'm going to get these planted also. There we go. Now, this guy, we had to cut off quite a bit of his stuff, and I still kind of want to spread out his roots a little bit. We're going to go for another hole. So sometimes I use my fingers, sometimes I use a shovel. There we go. Again, you get it wide enough that the roots can spread out and deep enough so that your soil line is in the same place. We're going to go for one more. This one you can see the roots. Again, I think I can cut on these just a little bit. He still has them, but you don't want too many. All right, so now that they're in the soil, they need some water. That kind of helps settle the soil around the roots. Just a little bit. Okay. Now we need to think about how do we care for these plants, the aftercare. If you plant stuff in the springtime, it might still be cold outside and your plants need some protection. Actually, I'm going to back up. We're going to do one other thing. To help your plants grow, they need some fertilizer. They need a little bit of extra food. Your soil that you buy, your potting soil, might have some fertilizer in it, so you need to pay attention to that. If not, just an easy sprinkle of a slow-release fertilizer is good. All right, now I was saying, in the springtime, it's kind of cold outside, and your plants are going to need a little bit of protection. You can take something as simple as a water jug and put it over top, and that acts like a little tiny greenhouse. It will intensify the heat in the daytime so that they stay nice and warm, and it will protect it from frost in the nighttime. So you might need something like that. Now, if you happen to plant in the heat of the summer, like even here in June, you might get some really hot sun. In that case, your plants might need a shade of some kind. A really good solution is if you have a shady porch. If you put the plants on the porch, they'll be shaded from the deep sun. They'll be protected from the wind. If it's still cold outside, they'll get a little bit of heat from the house. That is a good place to get them started. And then after your plants are growing and they're strong, then you can put them wherever it is that you want them. But you just want to protect them when they're itty-bitty and they're getting started growing. All right, so we went through 3 things. How do you select your plants? I should say your what. You select your plants. You know what you're going to plant. Number 2, we got our soil. Where are you going to put your plants? And number 3, you have to set the roots free. All right, I've got one more tidbit for you. When you go into the plant store and you look at the plants, like I said, there are all different kinds of plants. Some of them are big, some of them are small, some of them are bright, some of them are little. One of the favorite plants I saw one time, it's a flower, but it's all green, and you think, there's nothing there. But then you look, and the flowers were actually these little green bells. It was almost like a surprise. You had to find it, though. So in every plant, there is something special. Every plant has a reason and a purpose. This one right here, when I brush it like this, it smells like lemon. It's lemongrass. This one right here, this is basil. Oh, it has a sweet smell. So every plant has a purpose and a reason for it to be. And that's what I want you to remember about each and every one of you. You're all different. You look different. But there's something special, a special reason, a special plan, and a purpose for each one of you. All right, now I want you to go get some growing done.